So here's a potentially interesting little thought experiment you might like to try. It's one that I've been playing with, and as a way of perhaps trying to understand a little bit about what it means to express the masculine or feminine, this idea of there being energies or powers within us. And that is imagining how it would be if we had no physical bodies, if we were, as it were, swirling masses of energy with consciousness sort of interacting in some sort of great cosmic dance, but at the same time expressing something within us that would be described as masculine or feminine. I think the image that comes to me here is of the yin-yang symbol, with that kind of, the black and white dance going on, and there being the little circles, the black and the white, the masculine and the feminine within each of those kind of domains as well, and perhaps at the center there's some kind of meeting point. So we can imagine that kind of activity going on, swirling away. What would it be like? So in this world, as far as I can tell, there would be no need for concerns about how we present ourselves to the world, how we adorn ourselves, how we dress, what our hairstyles. We won't have hairstyles at all. We won't have faces. There'll be no need for jewelry or any kind of separation, a way of distinguishing ourselves from the sex, from one sex to another, or presenting our identity in a particular way that feels right to us. That would be one thing. There would be no meaning in sexual activity or orientation. There would be no need, there would be no possibility of physical contact. There would be no fear of abuse and being persecuted by someone that is physically stronger than ourselves, or perhaps has some power because of a privilege that might be related to their gender in a patriarchal society, for example. There would be no need to seek material advantage by denigrating others, by having political power, because there would be no need for material things and no need for material security. We would not need food, shelter, even all of those basics that Abraham Maslow talks about. We would, I think, in this state, expose our true selves. We wouldn't be able to hide behind masks. We wouldn't have any outer mask that we could put on. We would then be acutely aware of the importance of our part in this dance, and perhaps ready from time to time to step over into the other side, to kind of turn around each other and intermingle in some beautiful way. We would have a sense of if we have a sense of our own identity, that wouldn't be based on self-importance, any legacy we might leave, or our progeny. We wouldn't be procreating after all. We would be as though naked, unable, as I said before, to hide our true selves, but having to present how we are, how we feel, our true energy, our true nature, our true essence, without any kind of suppression and all of the mental distress that perhaps usually goes on or is associated with suppressing our true selves. We realize that there can be no hierarchy or prejudice among the sexes. There is no advantage being at an extreme on this spectrum or somewhere in the middle or at any point. Everybody is the same. Everybody is participating in this constantly dynamic dance. And because of that, I believe, we should be able to accept every essence, as it were, each expression of individuality or being, as equals who are entitled to dance, as it were, in the same space. Why is this an interesting thought experiment? Well, if you're someone like me that takes great interest in spirituality, you will believe that deep within we are all spirit, that there is a true essence within us, an immaterial essence that seeks to express itself. And in human form, certainly, we have this sense of the duality between masculinity and femininity. Two impossible terms for me to try and define, but nonetheless, some notion of what these mean and they need to express themselves. Yet sadly, we do live in a world in which gender flexing expression, crossing the divide as it were, is often frowned upon, or in some societies not tolerated at all. Imagine there's no prejudice. I'd like to think it's easy if you try.